My name is Alisha Bartels. My son was John Eric. To start to know about John Eric, I guess I have to kind of start at the beginning. He was born 2 months early, June 18th, 2006. I have to remember my numbers here. So he was a perfect little boy until September the 7th, 2007. We thought we were going in for a stomach problem, thought he was backed up. Went to our local hospital. They told us to wait it out for the weekend. We decided to go to Sinai Hospital the next day. Within 24 hours of going from our local hospital to Sinai, we were diagnosed with stage 3 neuroblastoma. Now, John Eric was a holiday baby. He was born on Father's Day. So I'm going to throw some dates out to you. You'll see why I call him a holiday baby. He got diagnosed on September the 7th, 2007, which was right after Labor Day. He started his chemo rounds on September the 11th. Went through our first round of chemo. He went down to Hopkins for a stem cell harvest, which happens to be on my nephew's birthday, October the 17th. He went through all of his rounds of chemo. He had his surgery on January the 4th, 2008. Yay, brand new year. Feeling to look forward to. Went back to Hopkins for his bone marrow transplant. Started that on Valentine's Day. That year, with Easter being a floating holiday, his 30 days post-transplant scan was on Good Friday. Oh, there he is. That was at Sinai when we first got diagnosed. He always had his blue lovey with him. We went for our 30 days post-transplant at Sinai, which was Good Friday. Easter Monday, we got the phone call that there was still residual tumors. We thought, okay, they'll just go in, get a little bit of radiation on them, it'll kill it. So we go in that Thursday for surgery, and that's when they found the residual tumor and a third tumor that was wrapped around his bowel that was inoperable. John Eric passed away on May 16th, 2008. It was 2 days after mine and my husband's wedding anniversary. So now you can see why. There he is, sticking his tongue out at Sinai. That was after he had been in there for 23 days straight. We got to go home for a day and a half, and that was the best day and a half we ever had. John Eric loved cows. He loved being outside. He loved his fire trucks. That was him at Disney, and on his favorite thing, the fire truck. You can just see the smile on his face. I remember going into Sinai, and I told him, it's our little Superman, and that's him during his transplant at Hopkins. I remember going into Sinai and telling them, wait till you see his smile, wait till this tumor shrinks a little bit and you could see him smile. And they told me later, no way, he's not going to smile. He broke so many hearts and won so many people. He just loved life. I mean, hooked up to everything. What 14-month-old do you know can be hooked up to all that and still have a smile on his face? But that was my baby. When we found out that the tumor was wrapped around his bowel, we asked what could we do, because we knew the survival rate wasn't very good at that point. 30 days post-transplant, tumor came back with a vengeance. Wasn't there at the beginning of transplant. What can we do? So we took him to Disney, and he was the best little boy. He had people in line taking pictures of him. They couldn't believe that he was the miracle that he was, because he showed no signs of being sick except for a little bald head. When we came back, we missed a clinical trial of the irinotecan by 2-3 days. So we were in contact with other hospitals to put him on a protocol. Knew that he could possibly be a sick little boy, and he might never ever come out of the hospital because he could be sick. But we did a protocol that we liked, and we went with it, and unfortunately, it didn't work. I'm hopeful with what I've just heard that parents won't have to go through what I went through, burying my son at 23 months old. It's been 10 years since John Eric's been gone. He would have been 12 in 12 days. Did I do the math right? Yes, I did do the math right. He would have been, and that's one of my favorite ones. If you look real close, you'll see a little teardrop in his eye. But he still has that smile on his face. I just hope that the research you guys are doing, like I said, doesn't have to make another family go through what we went through. And I see the strides that you guys are doing, and it's heartwarming. But knowing that something you could have learned from my son, whether it's how to hydrate a child or give them blood pressure medicine, or instead of scanning after 2 rounds, do it 1, or pre-treating them when they need a blood transfusion. He didn't die in vain. During John Eric's first round of chemo, he lost his voice. He couldn't talk again. We think it's because of the mucositis may have scarred his vocal cords. I never got to hear my son tell me he loved me, Mommy. I never got to hear his laugh. I only had his smile and his eyes, and that's how he talked. So today, I'm his voice. And I hope I made him proud. So, any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Oh, good. My job's done. Thank you.